I want to talk about Squid Game.
Yeah.
We should talk about Squid Game.
Yeah.
What about it?
So I think Squid Game is... I don't think it's overtly political. Apparently, you were telling me, Gary, that it was like there's like a political message in Squid Game.
Yeah, the writer, at least that's what he said.
My takeaway from it was communism bad. That was my takeaway from it. Okay, so now I'm going to say this. For those that are listening, spoiler alert, if you haven't finished Squid Game, it's an awesome show.
Yeah.
I prefer watching it in the original Korean with subtitles. I think it's fantastic. With the dub, you lose a lot of that like reverb and like natural sound. It's kind of weird. So spoiler alert, I'm going to say it again. We are going to spoil this show to
Kingdom Come.
To Kingdom Come. There we go. Spoiler alert. So what was it about? You mentioned that the creator had said something and it was like...
The creator called it a fable for modern day capitalism, but also for life and the competitiveness of life. And that message, it's not subtle at the end, which I won't ruin for anybody, but it's not subtle at the end. And that messaging was there. And, some people can't get past it. And I understand that. But I thought it was a damn good story.
But what was the messaging? Like, what do you think the message conveyed in Squid
Well,
Game was?
it's a cold and cruel system. There in that fable, there is no resolution except for at the end they create their own enemy, quote unquote. But that's what I got out of it.
All right. Just for context, okay, because those of you that are sticking around, even though we told you spoilers are here, I'm going to give you the quick breakdown of the show. It's a bunch of desperate people in debt. And then all of a sudden they get an opportunity to play in a game, but the game is brutal and you die in it. But if you don't, you win. I think it's like equivalent of US like 35 to 40 million dollars is the translation. So it's like 45 billion Korean won or something. Now we're going to get into again, I warned you, spoilers. I think the whole thing is the perfect example of somebody who thinks they're opposing capitalism but just makes communism and wokeness look really, really dumb. And the show ends up being, in my opinion, more anti-communist than anything. So one of the big themes in the show is that everyone is equal. They all enter the game as equals, and they're allowed to play as equals. And there's an arc in the show where it's like somebody violates the equality, and so they kill him. And they were like, that's the worst thing you could have done is strip the equality. But now, here's how the show ends. You've been warned. In this equal system, everyone dies but one person who gets all of the money. Okay, so that doesn't sound to me like capitalism. In capitalism, we recognize not everybody is equal. Not everybody does have an equal chance. We do want equal opportunity, but some people are poor and some people are rich. In this system, everyone is wearing the same clothes in the same room, being brutalized by the powers that ultimately results in one person having all the wealth and everyone dying. That is not capitalism. In capitalism, there's too much food. People are morbidly obese, and there are homeless people who are fat. In communism, everybody wears the same clothes. They have limited access to anything. They get garbage food every day. They're like, okay, the game's over. Here's the food you get, and they get trash. Yeah. And they're fighting each other because they're starving. That, to me, is an indictment of communism. And if this guy who made the show is actually like, it's actually capitalism that's bad, I'm like, it just goes to show this is a person who made a great show but was really dumb and didn't understand they were actually critiquing communism.
It's like they took him out of a capitalistic system where they were doing pretty bad to a communistic system where they were doing really, really bad and were executed by the state, which usually happens under communism.
Right.
I mean,
for like childish whims.
Exactly. And that's literally what happens under communism. Look up, what happened in China, what happened in Russia, what happened in Europe as well.
Yeah.
So there's a long history. There's a long context to people just being purged, taken away. Another very interesting aspect of that story is the masks that the very rich people were wearing were kind of similar to the same masks that the Rothschilds were pictured wearing at some of their private parties and galas a couple decades ago. So I saw that right away. I was like, wait, that's the elites doing this. And I thought of the movie more of a critique about the ruling elites. Because it's essentially, again, spoiler alert, rich people coming together to watch the average poor people, struggling people kill each other over money. There's some important kind of parallels there. The series is kind of gory. So if you're sensitive to that stuff, I wouldn't watch it. I watched it. I was like, Tim, you got to watch it. You're like, but you watched it and it is very thought provoking. It is very emotional. And it definitely pulls at the heartstrings in many different ways.
I looked this up. Luke, you ain't kidding.
What is this?
There's a bunch of photos from this Rothschild's party where they're all wearing these masks that are similar to the Squid Game thing.
Yeah.
But that's probably what he was doing, the creator.
Yeah,
it was a guy, right, who created it. I'm saying.
Well, the story I'm hearing a lot of different.
creator.
I'm hearing a lot of different reports about this guy saying that he lost a bunch of teeth because of the stress during the production of this movie. I heard that he tried to get this movie done for years and it kept getting denied. So
the series, you mean?
Yeah, the series. But yeah, I remember seeing those masks, automatically thinking, wait. I know I saw these masks before. They're at the private gallows and private meetings of the super rich that already do take place when you do look at the very powerful people in our world that manipulate the system for their own personal benefit.
I'll put it this way. Capitalism isn't the problem. Communism doesn't exist. It's just this idealized system. We might as well call it unicornism. The real problem is corruption and corporatism. And the left says capitalism when they mean corporatism.
I think that's exactly the problem. I think that's what he's doing with the masks. He thinks that the Rothschilds embody capitalism. They do not.
No.
They embody elitism.
They're the biggest promoters and pushers of communism and destroyers of actual, real free markets. Another interesting aspect was the fat guy. I mean, he looked almost exactly like Newt Gingrich. I talked to Newt Gingrich a couple times. I went up to him, asked him straight up to his face, hey, what did you do at the Bohemian Grove when you shipped in specifically male prostitutes? And he was sweating up a storm. I did this like 5 times to him. He really doesn't like being asked those questions. But we got to understand here, there is some level of reality when it comes to super rich people coming together in the middle of the woods doing very weird things. That does happen. It's called the Bohemian Grove. There's also other kind of secret societies and offshoots to these secret societies.
Remember when Bilderberg was a conspiracy theory?
Yeah, they said it didn't exist. They said it didn't exist a few years ago. And I was there at the meetings, be like, it's here, it's happening. They're like, no, he's crazy.
Remember when they sent that dude from The Guardian down and he was really angry?
Charlie Skelton. He came there to make fun. He's now my friend. Charlie Skelton was sent down there by The Guardian to make fun of the people outside. They sent him down there. He's like, there's a bunch of loonies. There's a bunch of crazies. He literally got followed everywhere, assaulted by police officers. They raided his hotel room. Wow. They raided my hotel room. The police officers acted like the Gestapo against any journalist trying to do any real reporting against the Bilderberg group. And he came out of it shook, saying, hey, I thought these guys were crazy. I came here to make fun of them. These guys are honest. I'm being followed by police everywhere I go, and they're literally trying to arrest me for just trying to take a photo of David Rockefeller and Henry Kissinger walking down the street together. I got arrested at Bilderberg way too many times, too.
They said it wasn't real. They said it was a conspiracy
it doesn't
theory.
exist.
And it's like you could literally just stand there and be like, here it is. And they'd be like, sorry, sir, it's a private event. It's the Bilderberg group meeting. And then you look in the newspaper, and it's like, nope, not a real thing.
Yep, doesn't exist.
Bye-bye.
Crazy.
Yeah, I remember there being like, this is absolutely absurd. But when really rich people do come together, they do really weird stuff. And there's a lot of weird stuff that I even experienced at Bilderberg. There's even weirder stuff happening at the Bohemian Grove. And this is some of the stuff we know about. What about the stuff we don't know about? So I thought this was a perfect time to talk about the bigger elements of these elites who do very sinister things. So that was the larger conversation of Squid Games.
But that's always, the criticism is always the corrupt elites. I don't, when they talk about like, communism, they never actually implement it because it's not possible. It's impossible to do. And then when they criticize, when the left criticizes capitalism, they're really just angry. They're elites with centralized power, able to do really messed up things and get away with it because of how much power they've accumulated. That's not what capitalism is supposed to represent either. And the problem is communism doesn't exist, right? They say that every time they try it, they get some weird form of, genocidal authoritarianism. Capitalism at its root is just people with capital from their work can reinvest that into making more projects. However, in our current system, which mixes it, we end up with a lot of corruption. And then you get a left saying, aha, this proves capitalism doesn't work. And it's like, no, actually, the problem is the corruption.
Yeah.
I don't care who's doing it or why. Corruption bad.
When you use the power of government to destroy your competitors in the, quote, free market, that's not a free market.
That's not the free market.
That's communism. That's government direct intervention into the free market. That's preventing the market from being able to express itself, from being able to speak for itself. Because usually in the free market, if someone does something good, they get promoted, they get business, they get commerce, they get people going to them because they know that their reputation is good. When you have multinational billionaire elites playing by a different set of rules, not paying taxes, getting subsidies, literally getting taxpayer-funded money, getting bailouts and restrictions and rules that punish their competitors and only help them. That is not a free market. We don't have that. We have multinational corporations, globalists, some people call them, that are literally the ones calling the shots, creating policies that screw you over while they get whatever they want for the grabbing.
Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. If you want to see the full show, come back to this channel, youtube.com/TimcastIRL, Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., where you can leave comments and super chat, and we actually will read your comments on the show. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and if you want exclusive members-only content, segments you can't get anywhere else, go to timcast.com, become a member, and we even have full bonus episodes. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.